Time now to take a look at our T-Mobile game changer. And tonight the long ball's been the story as Ruggiano early in the game, first inning, 2-run blast, mislocation. Mike Holt extending the arm, showing off the power there. And then Wellington Castillo, the Cubs' third 2-run homer of the game.
Not taking anything away from the hitters, but there's been some really poor pitching performances tonight. A lot of guys missing their locations and just not what you expected by a couple of guys that seem to be putting it together as starting pitchers.
Most runs the Cubs have scored in their last 50. And it's Starley Castro up to hit. Castro has singled, popped out, and struck out. Baden Hopp delivers a strike.
You know, even with the 14 runs not being scored tonight, there's been a lot of other opportunities.
Yes.
Cubs hit into a double play to end the top of the 6th. Second and third after the error on the throw by Mike Holt. And the bottom of the 6th, nobody out. Red Sox not able to put anything up. And I really feel like right now you're getting to that point in the ball game where both of these teams are pretty good. The Cubs have figured out their back end. Jose Veras was not the answer as the closer. They made that decision in plenty of time. Of course, we know what goes on in the 8th and 9th inning for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, those two guys, Tazawa and Uehara, have been magnificent.
And I really watching Miller the last couple of outings for him. I think he's back to where he was before the foot injury.
Yeah, it's a good point. He was a big part of their bullpen last year. On the ground, Bogarts plays the hop. One away. Here at Boston's Fenway Park, the Cubs and the Red Sox getting together. Cubs by 4 here tonight. John Shambi, Rick Sutcliffe, and Doug Glanville. Doug Glanville playing all 3 outfield spots today and tonight.
You know, and as I look around, there's plenty of places now for Dougie to sit. This fan base right now, to me, they're the ones that they need a little pick me up, and they need it via somebody offensively.
Now wait a second, he's out in center now, so he went left, right, center.
That's great range.
It is good range. And Dougie, let's be honest, Doug Glanville, it's center. You're home. I mean, you can talk. You were in left and.
Yeah, well, I'd like to think my power was that way too. To left, to center, and to right, which actually was not the case when I played. But
did you play all 3 outfield positions, Doug, in the big leagues?
Mostly center, but later in my career, I definitely hit the corners. But just like these young guys here, the day I got called up was June 9th, 1996. The first time Wrigley Field was on deck for me. And they started me in AAA in left field, which was my first start in the minor leagues in left. And the next day, I was starting in the big leagues in left field. So good luck. Go get them.
Rip towards right. And Holt puts it away. Brock Holt, a rookie, gaining experience in the outfield. Tonight, we focus on Mookie Betts. Dougie, you're hovering over him right now, but what have you seen from him?
Well, this is a learning curve right here. You see the adjustments. He kind of freezes and sort of misreads it, and he's not in a good position to throw. So adjusting to the wind, the reads. Now same story. He kind of gets in there, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, now I got to get back. So he's not getting those solid reads. He's over-committing, and now the ball off the wall. Now he's over-aggressive. He goes after it, doesn't read the hop, and then the ball jumps over his head. So this is the mark of making adjustments in center field at the major league level, especially when you're dealing with the challenges of Fenway Park. So the wind is important, the environment's important. You got to take all of that into account when you're mapping out your approach to how to attack a fly ball.
I spent a lot of time in this ballpark when I was in college. I sat everywhere, even gotten a chance to sit on the monster seats. The one place from an angle standpoint that I've never sat as a fan in this park is where Doug is. So there's a part of me in looking at that angle, I'm not going to lie, I kind of want to just leave you, Sut, and go out there and see what's what out there. Well, out there, his vantage point is really cool.
Well, with that gorgeous new Sports Center set we have, I think we should be able to teleport now. I think the technology is available.
I'll tell you what, that set on Sports Center, if Steve Levy or Butchergross, one of those guys, ended up teleporting off the set, I wouldn't.
You're welcome to go, but how long would it take you to get there?
Yeah. Somebody get me a helicopter.
When we got started, we launched our company on a simple premise. The right technology can create a better entertainment experience. Finding solutions through innovation is what Rovi's all about. For 30 years, we've invented key technologies designed to make entertainment more rewarding. Innovation is at the core of our DNA. As a result, our customers include some of the best-known brands in entertainment and technology. Our commitment to innovation, and most of all to our customers, is our way of making a better entertainment experience for everyone.
Critics are raving about the Showtime smash hit Ray Donovan. 4 stars.
The way you've been, you're scaring me, Ray.
Liev Schreiber is brilliant. John Voight is riveting. Summer's best and boldest new show.
I'm doing this for your own good, I swear.
Catch up on the first season in time for the second season premiere, July 13th.
I'm back in the movie business.
Only on Showtime. Get Showtime for 3 months when you sign up for HBO. Call 1-800-531-5000 or go to directtv.com.
Baseball gives us diving catches.
An incredible catch!
Ballparks put you right where they happen.
Goes into the seats!
Baseball gives us 400-foot home runs. Ballparks give us the chance to take them home. Baseball gives us fantastic plays every day. Ballparks give us memories that last forever.
Is she yours?
Yeah.
My first.
Congratulations. She's beautiful.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Thanks.
Your Applewood pulled pork with extra pickles, sir.
Oh, she is perfect.
The Subway Applewood pulled pork has arrived. Slow cooked with lots of sweet, smoky Applewood goodness. Also enjoy the barbecue steak and bacon melt. Subway, eat fresh.
Welcome back to Wednesday Night Baseball, presented by T-Mobile, as we go to the bottom of the 7th, 9-5. Cubs on top. John Shelby, Rick Sutcliffe, and Doug Glanville from Boston's historic Fenway Park, oldest park in the majors. So many cool angles and looks from different vantage points. Mookie Betts will start it off. Betts hit his first big league homer tonight. And you heard that sound. They weren't booing. They were moo-keying.
That's what a home run will do for your career, isn't it?
That's right.
They already know his name.
To Rizzo, and Betts is out. Rick Sutcliffe, let's go back. The Red Sox had themselves an opportunity in that 6th inning, didn't do anything with it.
Obviously the pitching gave up a lot, but look at the opportunities wasted there. There's a slider on the outside part of the plate. Gomes trying to do too much with it, repeating the same mistake that was made on the previous hitter. First pitch, breaking ball off the outside corner, and then there's a breaking ball there to AJ that just didn't break as much as he had hoped for. Pops it up. 3 easy outs when they had an opportunity to get this game with productive outs right back to 2.
So 5, 6, 7 in the order with the bases loaded. See a grand total of 3 pitches.
And that's what these fans have seen all year long. I mean, it's almost kind of like a National League lineup, you know, where the pitcher's hitting in there, and very seldom does anything good happen.
Herrera called out on strikes, 2 away.
Russell's smelling this wind right now, knowing that it could be up in the air as to who decision. I think that maybe right now, about now, Jerry Meals is smelling dinner.
Saying that zone is expanding. Is that real? Would you see that happen from time to time with an umpire?
I saw it a lot more back in my day than you see it in today's day.
Right. Because they're watched a little more carefully.
They are watched. They are rated. We're not privy to see the percentages and how they rate out when the year's over with, but their superiors do, and they're held accountable a lot more than ever before. Oh, you knew where you were at. You knew who was at home, and you knew whether they knew who you were or not. Right, Dougie?
Oh, yeah.
Hand out your resume before?
Well, I remember the year that they decided they were going to try to call the high strike. They were like, let's get back to the letter of the law, the high strike. And found out pretty much in a couple of months it was extremely difficult for umpires to sort of change. I mean, their strike zone is like a hitter's strike zone. You kind of have a comfort within it, and it's a tough change. So they were not really able to stick with it, and you know, that high strike sort of disappeared. And I would have loved it. I was a high ball hitter, so I was like, great, call the high strike, get rid of the low strike. I'm a better hitter, but they did not actually stay with it.
Holt drives that one down the line, and that one's going to be a foul ball. And romance ensues. Old school painter's cap right there. That's outstanding.
Or maybe like a train conductor, huh?
Sure.
This is a big night for a Cub fan.
They got a shot to sweep 3. Saw a lot of Cub fans just walking around Boston.
From the world champs?
Yep. Holt right back through the middle. A 2-out single, spotlight game, Orioles and Rangers. Rangers led it 1.4 to nothing. Ryan Flaherty gets into 1. And they're now in a rain delay in the bottom of the 8th. Orioles lead it 6-4. Our game here, Cubs leading the Red Sox 9-5.
You know, guys, I really think in a lot of ways the Red Sox are a role model for the Chicago Cubs this year. To think about what they did in 2012 at 69 and 93, finishing last in the American League East, turning that around into a World Series champion.
On the ground, Holt in between Hop, fires on the move. Rizzo, nice stretch, getting over. End to 7 here in Boston, and the Cubs enjoying a 4-run lead.
F provokes lust. It elicits pride, incites envy, and unleashes wrath. Temptation comes in many heart-pounding forms, but only one letter. F, the performance mark from Lexus.
Thank you, Daddy, for defending our country.
Thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for your bravery.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you, Daddy.
Military families are uniquely thankful for many things. The legacy of USAA Auto Insurance can be one of them. If you're a current or former military member or their family, Get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Dig in. Because after a few icy seconds, you'll discover the light beer brewed for 21 days. And that's time well spent. When you want a real light beer, it's Miller time.
Two things you only dreamed would come together. A delicious cheesy quesadilla wrapped around a beefy burrito. The new Quesarito from Taco Bell.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Great Summer Painting Party. Save 30% on paints and stains June 22nd through July 7th. Visit sherwinwilliams.com/save to find the store nearest you.
ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball is presented by T-Mobile, changing the game of wireless. And in part by the Lexus LS, perhaps the most visionary vehicle on the road. At Taco Bell, sometimes you've got to live Moss. Back in Boston and from Fenway Park, story tonight. The Cubs, the offense unloading, 9 runs on 10 hits, leading 9-5. We go to the 8th, and Edward Mujica will take over. 31st appearance, and an ERA a little above 5.5.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed for him since the All-Star break a year ago. Of course, the closer for the St. Louis Cardinals kind of ran out of gas at the end. The velocity of the fastball went down.
Sherholtz drives that one well right field. Holt up near the wall, leaping, and not able to make the grab. It's gone. Brock Holt with a great effort. Sherholtz with the home run, and it's now 10-5.
That was really the missing link from 1 to 9 in the Cubs lineup. Was Sherholtz not scoring a run or driving in a run as of yet, and now he joins the party. You can't put out any more effort than that. You can't time the jump much better than that, and you're not going to have a rear end that's much sore than that.
Yep.
I mean, you're fully elevated. You come down right on top of it. I mean, that's leg back.
And that short wall can really get you. We saw it in the postseason.
He's hurting.
With Beltran. I mean, there's no doubt that you run into that corner, it doesn't feel good, padded and all. But he timed that perfectly. He just ran out of length.
Look at this. I mean, look at him. Look at the wall. Dougie, this looks like a guy that's played the outfield for a long time.
Absolutely. And you see him out early working. But there's no doubt fundamentally it's ball, wall, ball. You pick up the ball, you orient yourself, and then you trust that you know where you need to go from that point. And he did everything absolutely correctly and got to the wall and timed his jump. So that's very impressive for a guy not a lot of experience out here.
Holt down on strikes, 1 away. For Nate Sherholtz, his 5th of the season.
And Sherholtz has really struggled this year. You know, last year coming off the 21 home run season, he absolutely destroyed right-handed pitching. He really has not hit right-handers well, so his platoon has really neutralized what the impact the Cubs have been looking for him. So he's really going to try to figure out how to get back on track.
You know, he might be picking it up. I mean, you go back to Monday, he hit that 2-run homer in the 2-0 victory in the 4th inning off of Jake Peavy. Couple of home runs in a 3-game series. This was kind of one of the givens when spring training began because of the numbers Dougie mentioned. I mean, Sherholtz, okay, he's our everyday right fielder, but he lost the job. Nobody really took it from him.
Well, Rick Renteria has a challenging job in front of him.
That one near the stands. Herrera, and it's out of play. Bogart's wandering over.
And part of what he has to do as a manager is, you hear the words core four. The Cubs have this huge wave of talent coming up, but they all have positions, and the guys that are playing those positions now, are they going to look over their shoulder, or are they going to see it as an opportunity to thrive in being supporting cast members? Otherwise, they're going to be just placeholders. So, you know, the time is now for them to get settled, and they really have struggled in their role. You have Valbuena, you have Barney, who's really originally thought of as part of this core, has really had a tough season, not hitting. So there's a lot of guys that are saying, wait a minute, Chris Bryant is coming and Baez is coming and all these guys. So what's going to happen to them? So Renteria has to do a great job of keeping everybody intact where they're not looking over their shoulder and it becomes a negative.
It's going to be hard for a guy like Darwin Barney, who sees the writing on the wall, I'm sure, as a player who's been an everyday guy, and he knows what's coming, and he's seen at bats taken away from him. Fouls it back our way.
Well, they've been happy with Barney's approach. You know, he's a real friendly, he comes up right up to you. I talked to him before the game, and you know, he just gets into, he's trying to understand the stats. He's talking about whip, and so he's cerebral, and he really wants to learn, and they're seeing that he's handled it well, that he's not playing quite as much, but it's an opportunity for him to establish himself and try to get something before the change comes.
Slice towards the line. Holt.
I mean, I'm sure that Theo Epstein would listen to offers for him, but to me, he's the type of guy you want to keep around. I don't know if he would accept being a utility type guy, but I mean, right now he's a better shortstop than Castro. But you've got to have Castro's bat in there. I mean, Castro's got a chance to get better. I mean, he's a utility guy that can play anywhere on the infield. I'm sure he can figure out the outfield.
Fair ball down the line. That's a good at bat right there. That one getting towards the corner, and Barney has a double. So with one out, a man aboard. Spotlight time as we check in on the White Sox and the Angels. Hello, Josh Hamilton. Liftoff. And that game is tied at 2-2 in the 8th inning. So Hamilton goes yard. Angels continue to try and track down the A's. I still feel like the Mariners are the team that have been really surprising how well they played. They pitched very well.
The guy that I looked at long and hard in spring training was Justin Smoke. And I just didn't see much difference at the end of spring than what we had seen the year before. Just, I kind of thought that Robinson Cano, I mean, they were together constantly. And it still may happen. But Justin Smoke was supposed to be one of those cornerstones that the Mariners built around, and it just hasn't happened.
I'll tell you, if the Mariners can pick up Jeff Samardzija as an example, you know, that puts them in another category. These guys are really showing that they can pitch. You get that extra arm in there to go with King Felix. That's tough.
That one foul at first. You know, they do have a guy, by the way, and I think it's a good example of where they play out there, West Coast time, far away in the Northwest, and they got a pretty good one too. Hisashi Iwakuma is legit.
Good pitch.
And remember, he began the year on the disabled list, and so they were a little limited that way. They got him back, and now you're talking about a team that's given up the fewest runs in the American League.
Well, Iwakuma is the real deal, no question. So why not add another arm? Go 3 deep. I mean, they.
Oh, I'm with you, Doug. I'm totally with you. I was just pointing out Iwakuma is a guy that doesn't get talked about enough. You add Samardzija to that twosome, yeah, it's tremendous.
Well, especially in that division, you know, trying to get by the Angels. You know, now they've added a legitimate 3. I mean, Garrett Richards has really been the best consistent pitcher all year. So they, you know, Samardzija is going to help someone if that move is made. You know, he's going to be one of those top of the rotation guys that's going to change the complexion of any team he goes to.
Justin Ruggiano up here. He's had a good night. Knocked in 3, 2 for 4, including a 2-run homer.
I got to be honest with you guys. I think they added a guy that they needed. And they needed him at the beginning of the season, but it didn't happen. But Taijuan Walker just came back for his first start of the year.
Yep.
picked up his first win of the year. This was right along with Justin Verlander. When I saw the two of them, not at the same time, but at the Futures game, this was the same kind of wow that Verlander gave me.
Brandon Workman tonight got the start, and it was rocky in the first, settled down, was pretty good in the second and the third, but then got off track again in the fourth. What did you see from Workman that you didn't like? What was the problem?
No fastball command, and that's a concern. His velocity was not as good as it can be and has been. But as a pitcher, when you know that, your location has got to get better, and his did.
Red Sox needing some runs. David Ortiz and company coming up to him.
ESPYs live from LA with your host Drake, Wednesday, July 16th at 9 on ESPN.
Red, white, and blue pancakes are under $5. That's about as American as it gets.
What do you mean?
Blueberry pancakes, strawberries, and cream cheese icing starting at just $4.99. Apple pie, watch out.
Welcome to Denny's.
This is not war. It's extinction.
Transformers in 3D. Rated PG-13. Jim's hair is perfect. So's his serve and his mandarin. But like up to 90% of Americans, Jim falls short in getting important nutrients from food alone, making Jim more like us. Add one-a-day multivitamins, rich in key nutrients you may need.
Frank loved Jack, as in Daniels. On stage every night, 3 rocks, 2 fingers, and a splash of water. He's even buried with a bottle of it. So Frank, here's to you.
That's the nectar of the gods, baby.
Let's do the one thing that changes everything. And let's start at the place with more #1 choices than any other store. Get $5 off cans and $20 off buckets of select paints and stains. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Hey man, how do I eat this extra long barbecue cheeseburger?
Dude, it's a burger. You just eat it. Oh, I see. Do you start from the short side or the long side?
I'll go long.
All right, I'll go short.
There's no wrong way to eat the new extra long barbecue cheeseburger. And now you can get any 2 sandwiches for just $5 only at Burger King.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
With Barry Larkin, I'm Carl Ravitch. Get you caught up quickly on what's gone on around the majors earlier today. Detroit had a big lead over Oakland. Verlander pitched well, and Cabrera helps out.
Detroit handled Oakland very well in this series. Good pitching, as you mentioned, for Verlander, and the bats certainly were at work.
Austin Jackson back in the leadoff spot, has 3 hits. Sean Rodriguez, big day for the Rays. They sweep the Yankees.
You're talking about possibly trading David Price? I don't know. There's still competition in the American League East.
Brett Gardner goes yard. Meantime, Blue Jays, Bautista homers, and then to walk it off, Edwin Encarnacion.
That we would call the buggy whip. Big time stick.
It's the Blue Jays victorious, as you can see at home. Back to you, John.
All right, fellas, baseball tonight at the conclusion of our game as Big Papi steps to the plate. Friday night we'll get a look at Cabrera and Martinez, arguably the top 1-2 punch out there.
I'm not arguing.
Those 2 guys in Toronto, from a power standpoint, are pretty impressive as well. I don't think maybe quite the complete hitters or pure offensive players, but Bautista and Encarnacion are something else.
They're definitely in the conversation, but I don't think anybody argues that Cabrera's the best and has been for quite a while. And right now, Victor Martinez is having a better year. You know, we talked about Samardzija and Hamill and some of the other things that might go on. If I'm an organization and I'm trying to win and I pick up Samardzija, as we look at Shark there, I'm going to get him to throw Russell in on the deal too. This is a horse here. This guy's had as many appearances as any left-handed pitcher for a while. Comes in now. He's gotten 4 outs already on just 14 pitches coming into this at bat. I might as well add as many candles to that cake as I can.
Check to swing, and they don't appeal. Like Samardzi's got some hair too, man.
Russell following his lead. Samardzi's had a lot more hair than that in the past.
Here's a 2-2. Driven well towards the corner. And that'll touch down and then bounce into the seats. So Ortiz has a double.
It's been this way for a long time. Even though your team's down by 5 runs, bottom of the 8th inning, it's worth sticking around to see Big Papi with one more swing of the bat.
Second extra base hit of the night for David Ortiz. Numbers 1,000 and 1,001. Got ourselves a pitching change here at Fenway.
Thank you, Daddy, for defending our country.
Thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for your bravery.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you, Daddy.
Military families are uniquely thankful for many things. The legacy of USAA Auto Insurance can be one of them. If you're a current or former military member or their family, get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Hey, you like bacon?
I like bacon.
You'll want the DQ $5 lunch with a new bacon cheeseburger.
I like bacon.
A delicious hot off the grill cheeseburger topped with crispy hickory smoked bacon.
Bacon.
Plus fries, drink, and a sundae.
I like sundaes.
All for just $5.
The unbeatable DQ $5 lunch, even better with the new bacon cheeseburger. Only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
Bacon.
No other system integrates holistic care with advanced technology exclusively for our nation's veterans. There's no other system like the Veterans Health Administration. Bring your medical and healthcare skills to VA. Visit vacareers.va.gov.
For those who can't imagine life without 2 wheels, Allstate offers protection with a purpose. To keep riders riding. Save up to 50%. Talk to an Allstate agent today.
Another studio update after Albert Pujols had flown out to the track in the 8th inning off John Danks. Hamilton goes over the wall.
Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, and now Josh Hamilton getting on board with the offense, swinging the sticks very well. American League West, a power division.
It sure is. The Rangers not one of those powers right now. This is Ryan Flaherty, and that is hammered.
That's called a hang 'em and bang 'em. Fastball up in the zone. Bye-bye baseball.
All right, and now it is pouring in Baltimore. They're in a rain delay, 6-4 Birds.
All right, boys, back here at Fenway. David Ortiz, Anthony Rizzo, we're having a little chat. Can't believe he threw me out.
I think they might be talking about what's it like to be an all-star, huh? If I get to go, what should I expect? You've been there so many times.
I think Ortiz was lobbying for his own chocolate bar, actually. Said Reggie bar, why not? Big Papi. Maybe it's already out there. Who knows?
Probably a chance there is. I remember the Reggie bar.
Oh.
Had a few of them, did you?
Maybe 1 or 2.
You know, one thing he could have been talking about, I mean, Rizzo could have been asking Big Papi, what's Manny Ramirez like? He's in our organization now. I asked Big Papi about that. I go, and I talked to Theo earlier today about it, but Big Papi, I mean, he said as smart as he was as a hitter, he was even dumber as a person. And you know, Big Papi, he's gonna tell it like it is. And you know, Manny is, I mean, Theo Epstein was telling me today that Manny has told those guys to, you know, to do what I do, not what I've done. You look at the numbers there. He was an 8-time All-Star the 8 years that he was here. 04 MVP, the title in 07 as well. Of course, and then after that led into a lot of suspensions and a lot of suspicions that people had were proven to be true.
He's a player coach at AAA Iowa for the Cubs.
How about this? He comes out to catch the first pitch before every home game. Is that a different guy? Would that guy have done that anywhere else?
He's fun. He can be playful. Just if you were to sum up why they signed him, why they got him to come and coach and play at the AAA level, I'm interested here with Theo Epstein. What do you think the answer would be there?
Well, you know that I talked to him about that today. And over the winter, he invited Manny, as he invites me every year, to come to Arizona as a spring training guest instructor, just to be around, and if you see something, say something to one of the coaches to get it fixed. And Manny turned that down. And the reason he turned it down was because he told Theo he still wanted to play. And okay, you know, well, they revisited it a little bit later. Theo came back to him and said, how about going to Arizona? You can get some at-bats down there and working with the younger kids. Manny said, I'll do that if I have an opportunity to possibly play. Well, he was so good down there. The coaches raved about him, his work habits, you know, the things he said to the kids, that they said, you know what, we'll take a shot on AAA.
Oh, look out.
I think they're calling a foul ball on that.
It did hit his bat.
I mean, right off the bat, you knew it had a chance to be bad. Look at that. He's not able to get. Wow, it just missed his shoulder. Had it been any higher, it might have caught his cheek. And what scared me was that sound. I thought that was bone and not bat. Oh. Thank goodness.
So it's a foul ball. Got him above the hands on the bat is what it looked like.
I don't know how as a hitter you get back in after that. I got my tower buzzed a few times, and I said I'll get him tomorrow. I'm done. Dougie, how do you do that?
You know, you just have to have a trusting relationship, pitcher hitter. I mean, there is an element of trust in there, the control and the command that it requires to be a major league pitcher. And okay, once in a while one gets away, but you know that they're entitled to that inner part of the plate just as much as you are. So, you know, you have to accept you're going to get hit sometimes.
Napoli rips it towards the wall, and it hits the wall. Ortiz is going to come in to score. It's a long, loud single for Mike Napoli.
Always has been one of the more productive guys in the game. You think about last year, he didn't even have 500 at bats, and he had over 90 RBIs. The guy that has put up some big numbers in the postseason. Down with that injury earlier. After hitting well over 300 in June, driving in some runs now in the early part of July. Just got to work on those numbers with runners in scoring position. Way down below what they expected.
And he did a great job staying in there. After he got his tower buzzed, he didn't bail out. He didn't pull off. He stayed right on that fastball.
Slitter's another one of the outstanding arms down there in that Cub bullpen. Most of them come in throwing 94 to 98. But he's a guy, it seems like every 6 or 7, 8 outings gives up multiple runs. And then he goes 7 without giving up any.
Back to the mound. Schlitter to second. They get one, and that's all they'll get. Now that's an interesting play because he threw it to Barney.
No, he was supposed to throw it to Castro, and they're both looking at the replay on the big screen. I don't know why Starlin stopped. I don't know what he was worried about there. That's his play. That's just a bad throw. By design, he was supposed to get there, but just a heads-up play again on the part of Darwin Barney. He knows he's going to wear it with Napoli coming down the line. But look at it. I mean, he threw that ball away. That's into center field if Barney is not alert.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just a bad throw. And if Castro went after that, he would have lost, both his legs. I mean, Napoli was coming at him, so it ran so much that Barney was very heads up and relaying it. He's a Gold Glover over at second base. He knows exactly what he's doing.
That's another area that Rick Renteria has really tightened up with this Cub team from a year ago. They were 11th last year in fielding percentage, came into tonight 4th in the National League. And because of that, right along with it, they might be pitching just like they did a year ago, but the ERA comes down with it. It's just offensively not a whole lot happening like what we've seen tonight.
Cubs are actually a rare team. Red Sox are one as well. They're two of the three teams. We talk so much and we show you on the high home look teams shifting. The Cubs are one of the three teams along with the Red Sox that are actually shifting less this year. Very aggressive with it last season, and as an organization felt like they may have cost themselves runs by doing it a little too much, so they pulled back on it.
And you wonder long term with the shift how things will change, because eventually major league hitters are going to make their own adjustments, whether it's bunting or figuring out how to go line to line a little bit more effectively, and that shift may change. So over time I think it's going to come back to sort of a more average area where hitters are now figuring out how to spray the ball around more.
I tell you what, I love it. I love it. I feel kind of cheated. I wish it would have been around, back in my day. I mean, if you tell me where I can go to limit the damage as far, and what it's about is throwing a fastball for a strike. If you go here 70 to 80% of the time, this is what's going to happen. Man, I'll take those odds.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And if it's going to get you, a few extra outs here or there as the season goes on. Schlitter ready, and here we go with the 2-2. Bogarts hanging in.
Dougie, we're not seeing a whole lot of success yet, but I'm seeing some better at bats out of Bogarts than what I've seen the last week just watching film getting ready for tonight's game. You feel the same way?
Well, no doubt it's the chase factor. He's not been chasing as much. He's more aggressive in pitches that are in the zone. And overall he has a good sense of the zone. He's just been really out of whack in June. He's jumping at the ball, and then once you start jumping, you get in between. Late on the fastball, ahead on the breaking ball.
Got him looking right there. And Bogarts is out.
He is now 2 for his last 46. Trying to get away, knowing exactly what Doug was talking about. He's chasing too many pitches. Just not seeing the rotation out of the pitcher's hand like he did a year ago. And that's the difference. Most of these guys that get to the bigs, particularly at that age, they've never struggled. They don't know what it's like to struggle. And I know a lot of organizations, they wait a guy out in the minor leagues wanting him to go through it. because it's easier to recover down there than it is here.
You know, that's so true, Rick, about younger players, especially now when the huge investments are made. You know, guys don't have to have that full season. They get hot for a few months in AA and they go to AAA, and then they got hot for a few months and then they're trying to find a spot for them in the big league. So they don't have that whole full season of adjustments, slumps, ups and downs, and making changes.
If the Cubs right now brought Bryant, Almora, Alcantara, and Baez up to the big leagues, they'd be better. They would win more ball games. But exactly what we're seeing with Bogaerts would probably happen to them. It normally does. And the other thing that we haven't even really talked about yet is you bring them up now, 6 years from now, they're free agents and they're gone. If you wait till the second week in April next year, you have them for 7 more years.
Brzezinski chases, and the inning is over. We're heading to the 9th here in Boston. Cubs on top.
If you had $1 for every $1 car insurance companies say they'll save you by switching, you'd have like a ton of dollars. But how are they saving you those dollars? A lot of companies might answer or no comment. Then there's Esurance. Born online, raised by technology, and majors in efficiency. So whatever they save, you save. Hassle, time, paperwork, hair tearing out, and yes, especially dollars. Esurance. Insurance for the modern world. Now backed by Allstate. Click or call.
You don't have to bust your butt to get amazing weight loss results. Abs in 30 days. Tone in 2 weeks. Don't waste a penny till you try Flabs to Abs free. We'll even ship it free. Get results fast. Don't bust your butt within the hour at freeabsnow.com.
If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Homeowner Protection Services now. New laws are in effect that may save your home.
Let's light this candle to our adventure.
Mark Twain National Forest.
You do know who Mark Twain is, right?
Good guy. He's a good guy. Woo! I am coming in smoking hot! Oh my God! Freeze! Nobody move! Give me some pies. Give me some of the good pies.
You like apple?
I do like apple.
Tammy, rated R, now playing.
This is Mark. At work, for those who want to enjoy their days, not just get through them. New One-A-Day Vitacraves with energy support. The only complete gummy multivitamin that supports energy and mental alertness. New from One-A-Day.
Hurry in for July 4th savings. Get 15% off all full-size Master Forge gas grills at Lowe's.
Fans, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 12 years. Watch every out-of-market game live at True HD on over 400 devices. Check out MLB.com for details. And the MLB Fan Cave is back. Some of baseball's biggest stars scheduled to visit and appear in Fan Cave videos. Check out all the latest cave happenings. MLBFancave.com. Follow at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave page on Facebook. Here's Craig Breslow. Left-hander, part of that World Championship bullpen last year, on for the 29th time. Has not been great this year. 20-18 the walks.
He was really a key component down the stretch for John Farrell out of that bullpen. Had a heavy workload, might have paid its toll a little bit. Not been the same guy this year.
And now it's Rizzo. A walk, a single, a fly out, and he's grounded into a double play. Rizzo, a guy originally drafted by the Red Sox, 6th round in 2007. It's funny, Jed Hoyer, who's with the Cubs now has actually had this guy in 3 different spots. He was part of the group that drafted him in 07. Then they got him in San Diego. And now with the Cubs.
Yeah. Part of the Adrian Gonzalez trade. Then part of the Andrew Kashner trade. And you remember back in 08 when, as a youngster, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Completely recovered from that. Right along the same lines, of course, of John Lester.
Rizzo goes the other way, and Gomes will play it on a bounce. First or second hit of the night, I should say.
That's probably been the biggest change that I've seen in the young 24-year-old, is how he's been able to battle and handle good left-handed pitching. Take a look at that breaking ball, right exactly where Breslow wanted it to be, but the plate coverage, the discipline, not trying to do too much, as they say. Coming into the game tonight, hitting over 100 points higher against the southpaw.
And something he works on in batting practice today. He spends a whole round just trying to pepper the wall, go the other way. Very aware of it.
I saw a different guy in Starlin Castro last night. As you know, I was in the clubhouse the first few innings. He had a bad at bat. His first at bat in the ball game last night. And in the top of the second, he was the first guy up into the clubhouse watching video of that at bat. Came right back up in the top of the third to see a little bit more. I don't know that Starlin Castro did that in the last couple of years. I don't think he did a lot of that last year. He's been good. But I think the big difference now is all of a sudden he wants to be good, wants to get better. And if he does, he will.
Up the middle, and that'll get through. Back-to-back hits. So 2 on and nobody out. Castro's second hit of the night.
Yeah, this is a lot like with 2 strikes what Rizzo was trying to do. I think these guys are realizing more and more of the importance of putting the ball in play. That's not a big swing. Just kind of sitting back there, just putting it in play. All right, you got me. I'm behind an account. I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to just give this away.
Especially given the culture of strikeouts. It's every year the league seems to set another record for most strikeouts. And so you're losing a lot of productive outs. If you don't put the ball in play, nothing can happen. So, you know, you see, especially when young hitters coming up, you like to see that they're aware of the whole field, the advantages of making good contact and just putting pressure on the defense.
Valbuena 1 out of 4.
He looks kind of overmatched right here. A little bit of a longer swing than what you'd like to see, but boy, Valbuena came up big in the game last night with that sacrifice fly off of Uehara in the 9th inning. Left-handed hitters don't do a whole lot against the Red Sox closer.
Nobody does a ton against him. He's been sensational for a season and a half.
He was talking about fatigue. He didn't think his split finger was as sharp as it should be.
Remember, he had some shoulder issues earlier this year. But it's been an amazing run for him as their closer. The dominance without ever walking people is the thing that really jumps out at you.
I mean, he was Mariano Rivera last year.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was only for one postseason. Granted, Mariano did it for over a decade, but he was that good.
Line drive, base hit down the right field line. Holtz over to pick it up. They'll hold Castro as Rizzo comes in. It's a double, and the Cubs add another.
Adding another guy to the night with an RBI. That makes 7 guys with RBIs. Everybody in the lineup but Castro tonight has scored, and he's standing at third base with nobody out.
Once again, a nice job by Holt. I mean, that's a play where if you're over aggressive, that ricochet can kick by you, and if your center fielder's not backing you up, bases are circled. So nice job of being under control.
Wellington Castillo was hit a 2-run homer. He's also walked. Breslow still hasn't gotten anybody out. Cubs with 8 extra base hits of their 15 total hits.
You know, and 2 of those came off the bat of Darwin Barney. And looking at his last 3 at bats, there's DB. I mean, he's a home run shy of the cycle.
Change up from Breslow.
But for that opportunity to happen, he needs some helps from his teammates. Somebody else has got to get on base.
Now in that spot, and it's 11-6. If he gets up here in the 9th, I mean, all you're trying to do is hit a homer, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I think most people would think that way.
You swing so hard, you dislocate your spine if you can.
How many times when you went up to the plate, I know you weren't a home run hitter, Doug, but how many times did you go up and say, I'm trying to hit a homer here?
It's funny you said that, actually. Al Leiter, who was a hitter, the guy for some reason I hit well. And there was one at bat in Philadelphia where I absolutely said, I am trying to hit a home run. I'm swinging as hard as I can. I'm looking for one pitch. And it was probably the only time in my career where I hit a home run when I was trying to.
Cut her in?
Cut her in.
And you kept it fair.
And I think it might have scraped the paint on the back of the wall going over. But, you know, it's just, it's tough because usually your mechanics really collapse when you try to hit a home run. When you get big, you get long, you pull off, you do a lot of things. It's a one of those cases of less is more when you're trying to get your stroke and you're trying to be short.
Did you ever hit for the cycle, Dougie?
I didn't. Not since summer ball when I was like 20. And I did not hit a grand slam except in spring training or something, or minor leagues.
I think I can. I'm sure I gave up a grand slam. And I actually hit for the cycle.
Nice.
In the big leagues?
Wow.
Where else would I be talking about?
I mean, I'm just.
Now, it was a cycle over a 16-year career.
Okay.
What'd you think? In one game? No. What?
Like, did I miss a meeting?
Are you? This is what a teammate's all about right there. You see Tazawa up and throwing?
Yep.
That's the last thing in the world he wants to do. He threw 18 pitches last night. He, too, was equally as good in the postseason. But he's not going to let his buddy just hang out there to dry.
Yeah, how much, I know you started most of the time. How much give and take is there actually out in the bullpen? Because, you know, look, his 2 top relievers are Tazawa and Uehara. John Farrell doesn't want to use him in that spot. Is there literally give and take where Tazawa will say, yeah, I'll do it?
From having been in that dugout and heard the phone ring, most of the time it's him calling down, saying we can't let this happen. He was so important to us last year. We wouldn't have rings on our finger without his contribution. You can't just leave him. I got enough in me to go out there and get a couple outs. I mean, that normally comes from the bullpen. Those guys are close. They spent a lot of time together, and the good ones, that's how they work.
Line towards center. Betts coming on, and he'll play it on a bounce. Castro in to score. Sherholtz Knocks in a run. Cubs tack on another. We send it back to the studio. Here's Carl Ravitch and the Hall of Famer Barry Larkin.
All right, John. Meantime, Adam Wainwright pitching well early in San Francisco. Gets some offensive help from Matt Carpenter.
Now, this is what we're talking about, St. Louis fans. Hitting with runners in scoring position, hitting the ball the other way up the middle. Nice job.
White Sox just walked off against the Angels. Sports Center's next. Baseball tonight, 1 a.m. Eastern time. Guys.
All right. See the Brewers leading right now. It's 5 in the loss column. Look at the Pirates all of a sudden playing good ball. Not all of a sudden. They've been playing on a pretty consistent